The wait has been a test of patience, but the evidence we will break down today suggests that patience is about to be rewarded in a way that will shock the world. So, if you're ready to move beyond the hype and understand the concrete, factual groundwork that is paving the way for what could be the most significant monetary event of our lifetimes, then you need to listen closely to every single word of this. This is the analysis you've been waiting for, and by the end of it, you will see the entire picture with a clarity you never thought possible. The signal is here. The master plan is active. And this is why it changes everything for the Iraqi dinar and for you. Let's dive into the heart of this master plan, because understanding its components is the key to understanding why this time is fundamentally different from all the false alarms and disappointments of the past. The Republic of Iraq's 10-year development plan, officially known as the National Development Plan 2023 to 2033, is not a secret document, it's a public declaration of intent, a contract the government has made with its people and the world. Its primary goal is to transition Iraq away from a completely unsustainable, oil-dependent rentier economy and into a diversified, productive, and private sector-driven economic powerhouse. For over 2 decades, Iraq's entire budget has been almost solely funded by oil revenues, which meant the value of the Iraqi dinar was artificially propped up by the Central Bank of Iraq at a rate that bore no reflection to the actual, non-oil productivity of the nation. This is the core of the problem. The master plan attacks this problem at its root. It allocates hundreds of billions of dollars towards monumental infrastructure projects, building new cities, overhauling the electrical grid to end the chronic power shortages that have hampered industry, developing a modern transportation network of railways and ports, and launching massive agricultural and industrial initiatives designed to create goods for export beyond crude oil. Every single one of these projects serves a dual purpose. First, it creates tangible, real-world value inside Iraq, building an economy that actually produces something. Second, and this is critical, it creates a massive demand for the Iraqi dinar inside Iraq. When you have thousands of construction projects, new factories, and agricultural centers all operating, they need to pay their workers in dinar, purchase local materials in dinar, and conduct business in dinar. This internal economic velocity creates a natural, organic demand for the currency that simply does not exist today. This is the complete opposite of the current situation, where the country imports nearly everything, creating a constant outflow of dollars to pay for foreign goods and weakening the dinar in the process. The master plan flips the script. It's about building an economy that exports finished products and food, bringing foreign currency into Iraq in exchange for goods and services that are priced in, you guessed it, a stronger Iraqi dinar. This is where the alignment with the International Monetary Fund and World Bank comes into crystal clear focus. These international bodies have been insisting for years that Iraq must strengthen its private sector and move away from its total reliance on oil. The master plan is Iraq's direct, comprehensive answer to that demand. It's the homework assignment, and they are turning it in on a grand scale. Frank 26 has consistently highlighted the importance of this structural change, emphasizing that the RV cannot and will not happen in a vacuum. It must be the natural consequence of a reformed and robust economy. Think of it this way, you can't put a luxury price tag on a broken-down car and expect anyone to pay it. First, you have to rebuild the engine, replace the transmission, refinish the body, and install a new interior. Only then does the value of the car genuinely appreciate to match that high price tag. Iraq has been the broken-down car for a very long time, and we've all been waiting for someone to just slap a new price tag on it. But that's not how real, sustainable value works. What this 10-year master plan represents is the complete and total rebuild. It is the painstaking process of building an economy that can legitimately support a currency with real, international purchasing power. This is why the recent banking reforms, the push to internationalize Iraqi banks, and the removal of Iraq from the FATF gray list are not isolated events, they are the financial plumbing required for this new economic house to function properly. They are ensuring that when the value changes, the world's financial systems can seamlessly interact with Iraq without fear of money laundering or terrorism financing. This is about building trust on a global scale. So, when you hear about project contracts being signed, when you see ground being broken on new manufacturing hubs, when you read about Iraq potentially joining the World Trade Organization, you are not just reading news headlines, you are watching the foundational pillars of the new dinar exchange rate being cemented into place, one by one. This master plan is the ultimate signal because it is the reason why a revaluation is not just possible, but is becoming an economic necessity for Iraq to achieve its own stated goals. They are not planning for a strong currency, they are planning for an economy that necessitates one. And that is the most powerful signal of all. But a plan, no matter how grand, is just words on paper if it isn't being acted upon, And this is where the narrative moves from theoretical to breathtakingly tangible, because right now, across the nation of Iraq, the blueprint is being brought to life in real time, and the velocity of this progress is what should have every single investor sitting up and paying absolute attention. Let's talk about the evidence on the ground, the physical manifestations of this master plan that are creating the irreversible momentum towards a revalued currency. We are witnessing an unprecedented construction boom that is reshaping the Iraqi landscape, a concrete and steel revolution that is the literal foundation for the new economy. The core of this is the Development Road Project, a $17 billion strategic behemoth that is far more than just a railway or a road. It is an economic artery designed to connect the Persian Gulf to Europe, positioning Iraq as the central logistics and trade hub for the entire region. This project alone will require millions of tons of Iraqi steel, concrete, and labor, all paid for in dinar, and upon completion, it will generate billions in annual revenue from transit fees, supercharging Iraq's GDP and creating a constant, massive demand for its currency from international shipping companies. Simultaneously, the government is breaking ground on multiple new industrial cities and factories focused on everything from automobile assembly and pharmaceutical production to textiles and food processing, all designed to replace imports with domestically produced goods, an economic strategy known as import substitution that directly strengthens a nation's currency by halting the endless outflow of foreign reserves. Every widget, every medicine, every piece of furniture that is made inside Iraq instead of being bought from Turkey or China is a victory for the dinar, as it keeps that wealth circulating within the country. Furthermore, the master plan's aggressive push into agriculture is already yielding results, with Iraq now reporting record wheat harvests and even beginning to export dates and other crops again, a sector that was once a cornerstone of its economy. This agricultural revival is critical because food security is national security, and a nation that can feed itself is a nation less vulnerable to external pressures and economic shocks. Now, let's connect this physical progress directly to the banking and financial reforms, because this is the circulatory system that gives life to the entire body. The Central Bank of Iraq has been working relentlessly to modernize the financial sector, and the recent removal of Iraq from the FAF's gray list was not a minor bureaucratic victory. It was the equivalent of Iraq receiving a global stamp of approval, signaling to every major bank in the world that its financial systems are now transparent, compliant, and safe to do business with. This single action has unlocked international correspondence banking, meaning Iraqi banks can now conduct dollar transactions and international transfers freely and without the previous debilitating restrictions. Why does this matter for the RV? Because a new exchange rate cannot be implemented in a financially isolated country. The world's banks need to be able to trust and process the Iraqi dinar at its new value, and this milestone has cleared that fundamental obstacle. We are also seeing the rapid deployment of point-of-sale systems and digital payment platforms across the country, fostering a cashless society and bringing millions of Iraqis into the formal banking system, which dramatically increases the money supply's velocity and stability. This digital transformation, combined with the government's push to pay all salaries electronically through banks, is mopping up the massive amounts of physical cash floating around outside the system, giving the central bank unprecedented control over the monetary base, which is an essential prerequisite for managing a currency revaluation. All of these threads, the physical infrastructure, the industrial growth, the agricultural renewal, the banking modernization, and the international compliance, are being woven together into a single, unbreakable rope, and that rope is pulling the Iraqi dinar towards its inevitable destiny. This isn't speculation about a meeting or a rumor from a forum. This is the observation of a nation undergoing a total systemic metamorphosis. Each completed factory, each new kilometer of railway, each successful international financial transaction is a brick laid in the foundation of the new exchange rate. The master plan provided the architectural drawings, and now we are watching the construction site operate at a fever pitch. The noise and dust from this build-out are what have been obscuring the final picture for many, causing confusion and doubt, but for those who understand what they are seeing, this is the most confident and assertive signal Iraq has ever sent. They are not just talking about their future, they are physically building it, and with every passing day, the economic gravity of these achievements makes the current, artificial exchange rate more and more absurd, creating a pressure that will soon become impossible to contain. The countdown is no longer based on dates from gurus, it is based on the completion percentages of multi-billion-dollar national projects, and those percentages are climbing faster than anyone anticipated. So, where does this leave us, the investors who have held on through years of uncertainty, who have weathered the storms of doubt from outsiders and the occasional flicker of fear from within? It leaves us on the precipice of a transformation that is as much personal as it is financial, standing at the moment where a lifetime of patience converges with a nation's determined leap into a new destiny. The culmination of Iraq's 10-year master plan is not the end of a journey, but the beginning of an entirely new one, both for the nation and for you. The revaluation of the Iraqi dinar, when it is announced, will not be a silent event, it will be a global financial shockwave, a reset that will be analyzed